Here we go.
And we're going.
And
I
we're
was
going.
drinking.
And we're
going.
And we're going.
And we're here. Welcome to the Time Travelers Club.
Yeah. Oh no. No ASMR. We're good.
Welcome to the Time Travelers Club Season 2 recap.
Yay! We're here.
We did it. And we didn't take 6 months this time.
Accomplishment achieved.
Yay! And we made it between equinoxes.
We did. No,
we did it.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so if anyone doesn't know, yeah, season 1, we went in it in like July.
And it
didn't come out the other side till December. Like, no, it was later.
February. It was February.
It was a long time. So we made our goal of not doing that.
Right. Because it was a season that never ends. It goes on.
But we loved it.
It was so much fun.
It was fun. It was just like by the end, like I was over it.
It was a lot.
Yeah. And still one of my favorite stories, still one of my favorite time periods, but this season we did something a little different. So this recap, we're going to kind of do something similar that we did last recap, right? Just going over our thoughts and our process a bit, kind of give you some behind the scenes stuff of like how we got this together. So like on that note, the first question is like, you know, what got us started on this journey and why did we pick the subject matter we did for this season? So
honestly, it was a conversation that we were having.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the entire context of the conversation, but we were sitting there bored out of our minds.
Yeah.
Bored out of our minds at our old job that we had together. And then we were just like shooting the shit. And then I turned to her and go, oh my God, we should do the witch trials. And I'm thinking like Scottish. I'm thinking like Irish, things like that. But then you bring up how the Germanic witch trials were even worse. And I'm just like,
because they went on forever.
I haven't even heard of it. Like, give me the deets. Like, yes. And so because we were excited about that and the fact that we could transition pretty smoothly from, you know, Cleopatra, Mark Antony, Rome, Egypt, it just goes a little bit north. It just has a slight transition because we've introduced some of the area. We've introduced some of the culture already in season 1. We didn't necessarily have to go like, bam, all information dump. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Drink from a fire hose. Like, you know.
No, I mean, like it's funny. You never thought that we would go from Dionysian mystery cult and, you know, ISIS and Cleopatra and Mark Antony to the, you know, 17th century German witch hunt trials. How did we get there? Welcome to the mind of someone with ADHD. It's possible. But yeah, so
it's not just possible. It happened.
It happened. So, I mean, like, I remember this very specifically. We were at our old job working, and this was like this is why we decided to do a podcast. It was like one of those things. She's like, I really want to cover like the witch trials. And so this was kind of like the secret deal. It was like, okay, we'll do this podcast, but if I do this particular subject. So first one was kind of mine, you know, because I really loved the story of Cleopatra, and I feel like she gets a bad rap, and like, you know, really wanted to set the record straight, and that was where I was at. It's what made me fall in love with history when I was a kid. Was like, I remember very specifically her story for some reason. But then like this was the one for Courtney, like where we kind of talk about, you know, witchcraft and like the hunts and things like that, but also like some older stuff, right? Like, so I thought that was really important to kind of like, that way we're both in this, you know. Yeah. So, I mean, but like, yeah, the transition of going, I think was great. We went from ancient, you know, we're ending in at Rome sliding our way up north, which is kind of where like Rome essentially eventually sets its eyes on next, right? And then they fail miserably, and Augustus is crying. Like Octavian is crying, and we're happy about that.
We're so happy about that. Give me back my soldiers. Suck
And
a
he's
dick.
just crying into like on the floor, like Disney. No, he's like throwing himself into a bed, Disney princess style, and just dramatic onto the bed toss.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
because but so yeah, I mean, and yet it evolved. There were different things that we were originally thinking about exploring, but again, I did not want this to rabbit hole.
No, and honestly, we were going to go a little bit longer, but
Hmm.
there has to be a cutoff somewhere.
There were
There's
more stories.
so much information, and there were a couple more stories. There were some really horrific things that you were telling me about that you had studied and found, and you were just like,
Like the
well,
godless children.
yeah, you would come to me and like your face would be so like hollow when you talk to me about it, and I'm just like, honey, I don't know if we can cover this. I
Well,
don't know if
some
we
of
can
it,
do this.
I mean, it's bad enough, but then like there were also just like stories where I'm like, all right, like I wanted to do Olga of Kiev because I thought that would have been a good transition from ancient to like medieval into whatever. But I'm like, you know what? It's just I think it's too much.
Mhm.
Let's and I didn't want it to snowball. So like I said, little edits, little cuts, nothing crazy, but we could save Olga for like a Patreon
Oh,
someday or like a side
absolutely.
quest, so I'm like, it's fine. Um I wasn't heartbroken about it. But that kind of like transitions into like the next question, which was like, what was our favorite episodes or topic this season? I know.
Oh, that's hard. Honestly, Gulvig. Freya
I
Gulvig.
know that.
Like,
Yeah, Freya Goldbeak was probably one of my favorites too. Um, I would say I also liked Valeda's story, but
oh,
definitely
yes.
the Freya Goldbeak of it all, I think really was like my sweet spot, just because I tend to like the ancient and the myth making and the folklore stuff a little bit more. The problem I had, like once we get into the witch trials, it's a bummer, bro.
Yeah.
It's a bummer.
No, it
But
just like we dropped off an emotional cliff and it was a lot very quickly and it was very heavy. And honestly, I think because these are people that we didn't get a chance to like emotionally attach to. It's almost like you want to distance yourself from it as much as you can. Um,
it's hard
but
to emotionally
you
attach because we don't
can't.
know enough. We
Exactly.
don't know enough a lot of the time. Katerina Kepler was probably the one that we could the most. And I don't know, it just really, I guess it's like you said, it's easier to distance ourselves, but at the same time, I feel really bad that that happened. Those people
Yeah.
deserve to have full stories, and there are some that were really heartbreaking, like the dad who, I mean, on the one hand, he participated in some of the persecution at first. It ends up turning on him,
Yeah.
but like I, him writing this heartfelt, emotional letter to his child, knowing exactly his daughter, knowing exactly what's going to happen, and it's heartbreaking, and it's one of the best accounts we have from like firsthand accounts we have from the witch trials, but also heartbreaking. And I didn't. That was an episode I thought about doing, but that was the one where I'm like, I can't. Like this is a bit
No, it's
much.
much. And
And
these
there
were
wasn't
people's
enough on that
lives.
person. And some of it was just logistics too, like being able to
Yeah.
like write an entire episode's worth. Like there was also the postmaster, like Germany's first female postmaster died by witch trial. Sucks.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, so it's I would say if we're counting like some of the specials though, my one of my favorites was in fact the beach day one. I wasn't a part of it, so I got to listen to it, and and so that was nice. I found that I was like very much summer beach vibes in
I
that
mean, it
moment,
was
and so I got to
great.
write it. and it got me a little break from like the Germany and the witch hunt of it all. It was a little positive, other than like the poet drowning.
Other than the poet drowning and, the infuriating aspect of that fucking straight hook. Like that
The straight
infuriates
book.
me. The straight hook.
You're
Just what the
still
fuck?
mad.
I'm
Still
so mad. I'm so angry. Like, you
Other than that,
pretentious asshole. Like, no.
Mhm.
Fuck off.
But like, it's like you're cosplaying as like a fisherman.
Yeah.
But the point was more that just like I liked that it was a fun, lighthearted episode, very summer vibes.
Yeah.
And I loved the cold open for that one. It was so fun, So, um, so the next thing, like, we'll slide into our next, discussion point. What, like, we've kind of started touching on them a little bit. Um, Also, I don't, who hacked Dylan? I think this is left over from last season. It says, "I'm a dumb little ginger slut who loves cocaine."
You know what? It's those little
I love
Easter
that.
eggs that keeps us alive.
It is. So I'm a dumb little ginger slut who loves cocaine. Next. It's not cocaine, it's meth. Get it right.
And it's prescription. But
That's prescription. I can do, I just had, I do cocaine, but like instead of through my nose, I do it through the gap in my teeth. I go. I don't really have that big of a gap, but it's just.
Oh my god. Just the random shit you come up with. I swear to God.
I did come up with that one.
Like, here's the thing. You guys think that like we do pretty straight through. Yes, we have discussions. Yes, we go down rabbit holes. There's so much shit I have to cut. There's so much shit I have to cut.
That's why we keep her around.
No, but here's the best part. Next week, I am releasing the blooper reel.
Oh, yeah. I'm terrified a bit.
I am releasing the blooper reel from our horrific mispronunciations and the laughing at such horrific.
We're gonna have literally just next season, like next spooky season, like just a blooper reel of that name. Like it's just a half hour of me trying to say it.
No, it just no. And next season, I think I'm going to do like the blooper reels, like kind of released like on TikTok and things like that during the season itself. It's just there was so many of them.
There's so many.
There were so many of them.
Brandon's musings. Like unhinged.
No. The thing is, they don't know. I'm just as bad.
Oh yes, you are. Season we did this thing where like we went through like the different characters, right? We had so many characters last season. So it's not gonna be as intense this time. But where we kind of discussed like what our point of view might have been before, like if we knew anything about them, how that may or may not have changed after we did the research, after we did all of that. And then like who our favorite people were and all that. So I think that was we should do that again, So like let's start right off the bat, like we were going through and Freya was like one of the first
She
characters.
is the first. She is the last. She is the only.
That
is Freya. So how did your opinion of Freya shift?
I mean, I already knew quite a bit, but like as I dove in more, because I was prepping for this season, right? Like I was prepping ahead of time. There was a lot of things I didn't know, like the gold week of it all. I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay. And I remember like, I never like, how like they wrote her as like kind of being a damsel in distress at times,
And
and I
kind of a
never
dumb
quite
bimbo
believed
sometimes.
that was quite it. Like maybe as a kid I would have, but like as I got, like walking into this, I was like, "There's no way," like there's more to it,
Yeah.
And I knew some of the stuff about her being like the leader of the Valkyries. I knew like that alone. Like I'm like, okay, so she's not a damsel because like she's a badass Valkyrie lady. But
Mhm.
like so like once the full story here, I had heard about like the Frigg Freya of it all.
Yeah.
That probably changed more because I think I because I'm not that's not my field of study. That wasn't like my area.
Hmm.
You know, and so like it's like I'm like, all right, that's plausible that they were the same entity or separate, and whatever, right? But like by the end of it, I'm like, I'm not as firmly in that camp at all anymore. Like,
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about mythologies. Like there is plausibility where we're just like, okay, possible, we'll leave it open. We will, see what opinions we form. And then as we go through it and we're doing the research and we're, you know, making discover the cat has decided to join in. Um
she has opinions, which is
she
fitting
has
because it's
opinions.
Freya.
Very Freya of her. But um as we were going through, it was just like, oh no. No, 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 no. See, I
Yeah.
knew that they were different entities initially because it was really a they come from different worlds. They like literally and metaphorically. They come from different worlds. They are over different spheres. Um
Right.
but how how they really tried to almost villainize Freya was kind of criminal in my
Well,
opinion.
and we talk about that too,
Yeah,
and why, because like the surviving records are written by people who aren't worshiping her, right?
correct.
It's Christian monks and things like that in Iceland who aren't even from, right? And even today they're struggling to because like the Germanic people, the ancient Germanic people, not the Norse, but the ones from before, right?
Hmm.
The Proto-Indo-European of it all, like we kind of discussed, like they didn't have written records. They didn't have that.
No.
And even when they start writing, which is late,
Hmm.
like we don't have any of that surviving stuff. So like we have a couple pieces of weapons that had some words on it, and like that's it. So
Yeah.
like, and it's like spells, and it's not like a book, it's not like records, so like we don't know how she even like evolved, and a lot of it's just going off of archaeology and assumption and things like very educated assumption, but assumption nonetheless, right?
Hmm.
Um and trying to piece it all together. um so and like you said, they are from very different worlds.
Hmm.
And when I look at like also just like the Norse of it all, even if we're just focusing on the Norse of it all, you don't see tons of kings. It's that they don't have a
No.
long tradition of like polygamy.
No.
Yeah, they could have concubines and things like that, which is
Could.
sometimes how they try to write
Could, but it
Freya.
wasn't it
Uh,
wasn't that.
so it wasn't like he's having like Odin having multiple wives would be kind of weird. They tend to be pretty monogamous relationships, as we discovered. Doesn't mean that they didn't go off and like sow their wild oats when they weren't home and shit. But like their main bitch is at home. Their
Indeed.
main squeeze. Typically. And like we saw like what happens if you dishonor a woman, like the family of her family could, pull out. So like,
Hmm.
there's less it's not like quite as Roman where like, dirtbag men. Um, but like, yeah, and I just like I said, all together, I'm like, they just seem too different. I think what happened was the opposite, that they got conflated together later. Not that
Yeah.
they were originally the same and separated. But like European gentlemen scholars were trying to form a connection that wasn't there
Yes.
and trying to make fit the narrative in their heads, especially if there was a degree of Odin concubinage there.
Correct.
It's like, oh, well, he can't be like that. He must be faithful. So therefore, Frigg must be. But again, like, we're not there's only that one story that insinuates that she was a concubine of Odin, and she also had an orgy with 7 dwarfs. So,
I mean, I thought it was 4, but
I don't matter. I just like the idea of the 7 dwarfs having an orgy.
what? She's not fucking Snow White. I ho. Fuck.
That's
God damn it.
they're singing.
Just
And it's got the right rhythm.
damn it, Brandon.
I ho, I ho, I ho,
Stop it.
I ho. Off in frig we go. This is why we have blooper reels, guys. Off the walls.
Off in frig we go. Wow. 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 Your brain.
In my brain, and that's just me medicated. There were some episodes where it's not medicated.
Correct.
Correct. So, see, that should be the fun game. Like, that's like,
It's like,
which one was Brandon not medicated in? And then you have to listen
in
through
which episode was Brandon unmedicated? Can you guess?
Like, whoever gets this right, I don't know. You don't get anything, but it's fine.
We're gonna
but
figure out
report.
the t-shirt situation eventually.
Mhm.
And so
Yeah, I know. I've got like some really cool ideas, especially once we get a couple seasons in. I thought about doing like season shirts, kind of like band tour. Oh, that's a good idea. Like band tours,
That'd be
but
fun.
like we have like the album covers, but it's like the cover for each season. And then like on the back, it would be a list of like all the episodes.
I love. Sounds
So,
like a plan to me.
Yeah. I also had an idea for like merch at one point, like of doing like candles, like 6 candles, and each one representing some aspect of like, because I feel like scent is a really sensory experience.
It really
helps-
is.
Like it brings like we know that its scent is very tied to memory.
Mhm.
So it's like this idea of invoking a time period through scent, and I thought that would be cool. But anyway, so the next person who we didn't really like talk about, but I know you have opinions on. So I'll let you rant for a bit. Is Odin? How do we feel about Odin?
No,
do you,
fuck this
do you
guy.
love him now? Do you like?
No.
My opinions change.
No, the fuck I don't. No,
I
Odin
had-
can kick rocks. I dislike
So-
him intensely.
So I'll start it because then you can go on your rant. Because I actually
Gorgeous.
changed, not like changed, but I went from very neutral, like like okay, like whatever. He's an old guy who rules Asgard or whatever,
Yeah.
and like sometimes he goes to war and stuff, and like whatever, like fine. He's not as bad as Zeus, I guess. Who's like
that's an
raping
opinion.
ladies, and that's changed. That has changed now that I know more. So I'm like, wow, he's a dick. Also, I played God of War Ragnarok, and I feel like they did a very good job with based off of my lore, creating a personality right down to this like Steve Shetty, whatever the fuck his name is, like voice, like in vibe, and he's just like God, I just don't like him.
No,
I don't like him. There's just something about him that just like, God, you're a worm. This little, like,
I know.
you're always up to fucking something. And I'm just
Always
like,
scheming.
and
Fucking
that's,
schemer.
yeah, it's the scheming. And it's like Loki gets the like scheme,
I know.
and like it's really
where
not.
it's so irritating because Loki's the one that gets the bad rap. Loki's the one that like
Who is scheming, to be fair, but
I mean
not like
is
at least
but
it's
like
he's got
it's
fun schemes.
open.
Yeah, and he's
They're
not like
open
yeah.
with it, and it's just like okay. But when Odin does it, everyone turns a blind eye, and I'm just like
Blind
double standards. But also
Blind
Odin
eye.
is just an asshole. Yes, I did that on purpose. You're welcome. But
I found it. I pointed out the obvious. Real good at that.
no, but fuck that guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Just because knowledge is there doesn't mean you deserve it. Just because somebody has something doesn't mean that you can make it yours. That is not how that works. Like realistically, Brandon is a wonderful artist, as you can see in his background. Fantastic artist, does his thing. I can't claim his work. I would never be able to do the exact same technique as him.
I appreciate that you're not going to impale me with several spears just to
Yes.
learn how I created artwork. Thank you.
Of course.
Also, that's not even my best one that's not done. Like I was just there's a reason why these are behind me.
But they're
You'll have to
wonderful.
wait.
I love
You have to
them
wait.
so much. But like, because somebody else has an ability and you covet it, doesn't mean you get to go after it. Doesn't mean you get to go
Right.
steal it. Doesn't mean you get to go torture somebody over it. Like, that's fucked
Yeah.
up.
Well, that's how I gather my sources. Like, just how do you think I learned about witches? That's how
Oh God. Who do you have
I
in your
just opened.
basement?
I opened the Witch Hammer book, and I was like, "Let's go from there."
Oh no.
I just applied the first-hand material.
Ooh.
But yeah, so we don't like Odin.
No.
He's kind of a dick. Freya's by far the superior god in their pantheon.
1000%.
That's my vibes. So the next character we'll kind of fast forward a little bit to is Valeda. So I didn't really know anything about her before this episode. And I don't know. I like her. She's one of the few, I don't want to call it a happy ending.
Well,
But, like,
it's a question mark ending.
Yeah, it's a
Because we
question
don't
mark
know
ending.
for sure.
Like, we know she probably lived in Rome by the end, but whether she died of old age or what.
Mhm.
But I like that she gave them hell for 10 years and they like to skip that.
Exactly.
They make it
She was
sound like,
just like,
oh, the
yeah, you wanna
tribes lost
capture
and
me?
he was
No.
captured. And it's like, nah, she personally gave them hell for a while. And I'm like, good for her. Good
We
for
love
her.
it. We love it. We
Yeah.
love it. We love it.
So we'd love to see an example of a strong, independent lady giving Rome hell.
Indeed.
Especially after Cleopatra of it all. Good for her.
We love Valeda.
And that, potentially Roman tax dollars had to keep her alive and happy and comfortable. We love that. And that potentially she went there of her own free will.
Indeed. She was like,
Which we
all
love.
right, I'm not running no more. Go ahead.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
So then
Do
we
it.
have Heinrich Kramer.
This
Yeah.
little neurotic shit.
Oh, like before we even get into him, let's talk about Martin Luther of it all too, because he kind of feels like he's tied in. I, got kind of like, I knew some stuff about Martin Luther before this, but like growing up, it's very much like he was a scholar. He proposes, like he's a very moral person and smart person, and that he proposed these ideas. The church, corrupt and fucked up, was just hating on him, haterade, and like he was just trying to give them a chance to make things better, but they wouldn't listen,
And then you find out the racism.
In this anti-Semitism and the misogyny and the crazy. And like he's just kind of, and like I'm not surprised because he fits a certain demographic and type that we see here today, continuing across in America. But we don't love it.
No.
I don't love seeing it. Yeah, and that like the mustache man really liked him.
Yeah, anybody that the mustache man liked, I don't.
Oh.
I do not.
And then on the flip side, you got, Kramer, which isn't really the flip side so much as like the flip side of like he's technically Catholic, but writing the literal handbook.
Kramer just, okay. One, I hate this little shit. I hate this little shit because he codified misogyny. He codified the worst of the worst type of behaviors and then made it accessible.
Yeah, and like the kind of the violent misogyny.
Yes.
Like, where he like insecure man tries to dominate a woman, and that woman said, "Fuck you," literally, and he made a whole court case out of it to try and kill her because he was just so angry and horny about it. Like, I love that he gave us the archetype for Frollo, but like at the same time,
In the
I hate that that man was
same
real.
No, the
I
fact
hate
that this
man was
the fact that
real.
this thing happened, that this was real, that she was his Osmeralda in
Uh-huh.
some way, shape, or form is so disheartening. It's so
Yeah.
disheartening.
And like we know these things happen. We know these stories exist. Frollo is so like hate. We like people can't stand him because we know people like that. Unfortunately, we've seen political figures like that. We know
Indeed.
historically they've existed. I was just really surprised that it would be spot on. Like literally, it's just a name change. I'm like, that's intense.
Indeed.
Like yikes.
Indeed. The only
Uh,
thing she didn't
um,
do was pole dance in the square.
you know, but yeah. Um, so and there was no redemption moment for him. He got to die old and happy and rich, I guess.
You know what? His religion believes in hell. I choose to believe that he went there. If his religion, his own confines of believe that there is a heaven and there is a hell. Either he is stuck in purgatory forever for his crimes, or he is burning in the
Yeah.
Christian lake of fire. Either
For
way,
all that wrath,
trash.
trash. So Bach Felicia, Bach Kramer.
Bye.
Um, so then our next this asshole in history, Prince Bishop, Bishop Prince, Princes of the Bishops and Bishop of the Princes, Philip Adolph.
No, see, I didn't do this episode. I did
Mhm.
not do this episode because time constraints and just
Mhm.
we couldn't make it work. And this one in particular, seeing how he got it going. He's just like, all right, we'll make this efficient. It's like it
Yeah,
didn't
it
need
was the
efficiency. What are you doing?
yeah, it was the that's where it was like really it was so thought out. Unlike Kramer, who's just like angry and horny, um, Philip Adolph is not at all.
No.
Like not at all. It's cold. It's cold blooded, like in a messed up logic, honestly, to it. Um, yeah, yeah. My only, like, and I didn't know nothing about this man, know how,
Hmm.
but these are like the stories that also need to be told. Like these people, like who perpetuate all this crap,
Oh, absolutely.
and it's like this is like how like things happen.
Hmm.
We need to know these stories because it's not always the same type of person, an angry mustached man, an
No,
insecure
it's
man.
not.
No, this man was not insecure, but he was raised hardcore with these beliefs, indoctrinated. Um, and like his family thought it would go a certain way that was controllable, right? Like his uncle, who was very much the one who put these thoughts in his head and things like that, was like, and therefore we're going to be better. I'm going to build schools and orphanages, stuff like that. And those same systems end up feeding this engine later.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things where you sit there and you're just like,
And it's like
you
his
can
uncle
have the super charismatic mustache man type who's going to preach it on the corner, who's going to turn hearts that way, or you can have the bureaucratic framework.
Mhm.
And they
And
are
he's kind
both
of
just as fucking scary.
both, but like definitely more bureaucratic for sure.
Hmm.
Because he knows how the system works. His uncle taught him.
Exactly.
And also, like, we kind of see this, at least with religion here, right? This, like, ultra conservative, right? Doesn't want change, doesn't want Lutheranism, right? Um, and which drifts into extremism,
Well,
right? It's a
because of the
slippery slope.
Reformation, Counter Reformation, all of this, They are looking to prove their holiness. They are looking to prove themselves to God because their belief system, their value set, all of these things are so much better than the other side because they're literally having to one up each other just constantly. And so, yes, that is what produces extremism because you're
Mm-hmm.
literally like pitting the same fucking religion, mind you, against
Mm-hmm.
each other. Just because your beliefs differ a little bit
Slightly.
doesn't mean that you have to like, I'm better than you. Like, that is such a cock measuring contest, and it's
Mhm.
annoying as shit.
But in their heads, it's the matter. It seems like minor detail, but those minor details in their heads, especially amongst their flock, are like. But those minor details determine your immortal soul,
Yes,
which is crazy. It is cuckoo bananas. I'm not saying it's not cuckoo bananas. I'm just saying in their heads, it's like, that's so dumb. Like, take the Eucharist or don't. Who cares? It's like, well,
exactly.
apparently that's enough. That's enough to their God, apparently, to go to hell because,
See ya,
but
I'm
that
diving in. Pew!
it's just one of those things that, um, but so many people died for it. And
I know, and it's
that's the
ridiculous.
biggest tragedy of it.
Fucking ridiculous.
And it's the women who died, who didn't even have a say,
No,
right?
and it's just really seeing the change and like over the season, seeing the change from women are holding that spiritual space, women are in charge of that spiritual space into that patriarchal change of Christianity, of that takeover happening to where
Mm,
women are literally told to sit down and be quiet. Go make babies because you don't have a place to speak here. Their words
yeah.
were sacred beforehand, and they took the sacred away from women. It's all womb envy. All of it is womb envy. Well, realistically, the entire Christian religion is womb envy. But it is,
Yeah.
it's disgusting because they are literally killing an aspect of the creator.
And it's, all of this reminds me. So I love Castlevania, the series, right, on
Mm-hmm.
Netflix. I really love it. Um, and you have two characters from season one, one's from season one, one's from season two, and I love that's a continuation. Um, so in season one, there's a character called Carmilla. She's a vampire, right?
Mm-hmm.
Vampiress. Um, and she's gone dark, clearly, right? But like when you start looking at how she ended up here, you're like, oh, okay. And like her whole thing is that all the world's problems really boil down to stupid old men, right?
Correct.
And then in season two, you see this happening again with a young girl who's a French revolutionary and things like that. She's got cool magic shit. And her name's Maria. And like her father is a priest, of course, and he's done terrible things in the name of his God and doing the right things, like, oh, it all justifies the means, blah, blah, blah. But also he's a hypocrite because literally he's her father,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am. And she knows this, and finally she kills him. She kills him, knowing all of
As
it.
we should.
And it's like some guy goes like, oh, like one of the good guys, and he's got a point, he's like, oh, don't do this, it's not worth, some stupid old man. And she goes, most of what's bad in the world is because of stupid old men.
I need that on a t-shirt.
And then she kills him with a fucking crazy demon dragon summon. Uh, like,
Love it.
hair goes wiling out.
Love
It's
it.
a very
Love it. Love it. Love it.
intense
Love it. Love it.
moment.
I love.
It
See,
does
I've
taint your
watched
soul.
season 1, I
But
haven't watched season 2. So,
yeah, well, it's technically there's 4 seasons in season one. It's like more like there's not Castlevania,
mhm.
then there's Castlevania Nocturne, which takes
Ooh.
place in the future. There's also a gay like Aztec vampire. We love him.
Hey, we love.
He has the best hair. I have ever seen.
like
It's
you
giving
just he's
Pocahontas.
got the
It's
hair.
he's the dark gay Pocahontas. And so like animation wise, right? Because but like I'm like, there's no way they did not get the same animators for that hair because it's like the same. I'm like, but I love it.
I love that
So,
so much.
he's amazing. And he's
No, no,
also
no. Say what you were
Quetzalcoatl.
gonna say. He's so
Apparently,
hot. I heard it. I heard it.
it's he's not normally my type, but I'm like, it's the confidence, and I'm like,
Damn.
Now his boyfriend's definitely my type by the end, but short hair, beard. I'm like, yeah. And your knight who's just angry all the time, like, yeah, you got problems. I'm gonna fix you. So we've gone off the rails a little bit with this one, but the
As
point
we
of like
do.
what we were trying to say was that like this is a case in point of like stupid old men arguing and doing these things, and what happens? A terrible travesty involving people who had no say in it whatsoever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Right?
it's pointing
None.
fingers, assigning blame where there are certain things in this world that are completely blameless. You
Right.
don't
And well, and
you
that's the
don't
thing.
have
Like,
to
there is no well
point
but
fingers.
in this situation.
Exactly.
Everything that these people, every single one of them was accused of,
hmm
wasn't real. They died for no reason.
They died because of paranoia.
Like the 30 Years' War, you could argue, okay, it was more about politics than it was religion. So if those people are dying in a war for politics, sure, whatever. And there, a lot of the common people think they're dying for a religion, though. So there's that. But when it came to these witch hunts, no, there was no. It wasn't a war. There was no defending yourself. There was nothing. It was like not like a literal defense of yourself. Like if you're in a war, it's two sides, and like you could fight your way out of it. You ain't fighting your way out of this one.
Not this one, no. Because how are you
Katerina.
going to prove that your immortal soul is clean?
All right, but
When
also
a soul is not
supernatural
even something
evidence
that
is
can be
allowed.
observed.
And thanks to Kramer, supernatural evidence is allowed, which means nothing. Right. So, speaking of Katerina being the only one who could really defend herself, which we saw,
I love her.
really was just at least on paper victory, right?
It was
And
a
I think it
paper
did
victory.
help people down the line because it showed that it was possible. But for her life, unfortunately, it didn't matter, right?
No,
That's the
one,
tragedy.
she was old. Two, she was chained to a fucking floor for how long?
Like almost, yeah, like
She was in
over a
her
year.
what 70s, 80s?
Yeah,
She was
70s,
old
yeah.
as shit.
In a time where that people didn't live that long.
Exactly. And
right?
being in that type of a prison situation, like this is not the Hilton. This is not
No.
modern prisons where, like I said,
this isn't
in
even
the
their
episode,
prisons
3
for
hots and
rich
a cot.
people. This isn't even their prisons for rich people, because like
Exactly.
nobles would never. They would never.
Oh,
If she had been a noble lady, they would never have. Never.
Oh no, and they would have tickle tortured her if she was a noble lady.
She would
But
have been on house arrest at best.
Exactly.
If they kept her in a tower style situation, like it's still going to be outfitted. The family
Correct.
pays for it, but like still they have money. Like it's like Bezos style money.
Indeed.
So whatever. But
Indeed.
yeah. But like I really loved her story until I did the research. I didn't know she was a thing. I know of Kepler, of course. That's the guy that we name stuff after, and there's a whole star system and everything like that. But like not his mom, let alone that his mom was accused of witchcraft.
No, and I do love that he went in and defended his mother as best as he possibly could. And technically he got her acquitted. He got everything that he needed and set these people correct. However, it wasn't enough because too much
and they
time
still
had
fucked them
passed
over.
because these corrupt individuals pushed and pushed and pushed back these dates and kept this frail old lady
slammed them with the cost.
Kept this frail old lady in prison.
Like you've been proven innocent, you know, it's been dismissed. Clearly we arrested you. That's admitting that you were arrested for a crime you didn't commit, and that's our fault.
But the
You
stigma
still owe
still
us.
stays.
You
And the
also
cost
still owe us
still
money.
stays. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And I'm glad that like pretty much because of this case, immediately afterwards, someone higher up was like, "That's fucked up. We need to change some laws and have some checks and balances here."
Oh, absolutely.
Um, so there's that. But yeah, it was intense, and I think that by like this was a great season. And we didn't end quite as it's a bummer note, but like it wasn't quite the same bummer level as like
Oh
Cleopatra.
no, during Cleopatra I was crying. I
Yeah,
was
that
fucking
was tough.
crying.
Yeah. Um
like
it was that was tough.
like the cold open
But
for the last episode of Cleopatra, like I was sobbing my way through. It was great.
yeah.
But no,
Um
this one it was good. It was good. It was also a little bit more concise where we
mm,
were able to get the information across
mhm.
without like a bunch of like the super flowery extras. But the story of Cleopatra and Mark Antony kind of required that for
Yeah.
understanding,
Well, and that's
honestly.
because everyone knows, well, thinks they
Indeed.
know Cleopatra and Mark Antony's story. It's like, but because so much detail gets cut out, like the entire year between the Battle of Actium and their eventual suicides, maybe murder.
That.
Yeah. I'm like,
Oh, I
there's
want
a
to say
lot.
definitive murder.
Hmm, it's hard.
The
It's
the
like we
only one that I could see that did probably kill himself would be Mark Anthony. That would he
see,
was a
but that
sad
that
boy.
we that was the one for me that was the weirdest one. Well, one, but yes, I think like even that though, it's like, ooh, we set him up for that one.
Yes.
Like we create a situation where he felt like that was the out.
Yep.
Like Cleopatra, the weird note of it all. Like I don't think
Mhm.
that was her.
I don't think so either.
I think he was in yeah, Mark Anthony was already suicide so I do think maybe he did that to himself, but like yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think she's the reason like they like to make her out to be.
Indeed. No, she
I'm
was
like
not.
that, like because honestly, when you actually talk about it, you're like, this doesn't even make sense. Like that, like where was she even having the time? Like, and why would
Indeed.
she be waiting for him if that's what she thought was gonna happen? Like, that's
Indeed.
like, if I was like, this was a modern trial, this doesn't make sense. It's
I'm just like,
reasonable doubt all
your
over the place.
timeline is fucked. Like, there's something wrong
Also,
here.
I'm like, I can't prove you, sir, did it, but I definitely don't think she did it. I'm just
Indeed.
saying. But yeah, so speaking of cold opens, as you said, I mentioned, like that was a really tough cold open for us,
Mhm.
which was the point. And I did that
It
around
was the
Christmas.
point.
Yeah. Um, so this season, what was your favorite cold open? I know we
Oh,
did quite a few of them.
there were some really good ones. The ones for Freya and Golvig were really good. But
Hmm.
I actually enjoyed the cold open. You had done it, but we had my youngest child actually like
Mm,
speak into it. Just a few little phrasings, and I thought that was so fun.
yeah, and I mean these cold opens. They were not quite as emotional. Like
Hmm.
some of them, it was more just about environment building this time
Hmm.
around. Um, I think those were kind of like some of my favorite ones that were more about like just mood,
Hmm.
giving a mood vibe.
Hmm.
So like the first one where he's in the forest and just going through the descriptors of like that fall environment, was kind of
That was
nice.
wonderful.
And then I really liked the ocean one. Um, just like, like the idea of this like woman, living her ordinary life, going with her friends, and we're all going down to the beach, like
You
that's
really
such
loved
something
the beach day episode
I
altogether.
did.
That was your
But
favorite.
that's because I'm in the summery moods right now. But like that particular
That's also
one,
true.
I'm like, it just felt like this is like such a universal, like people have been doing this forever, right? Because we're
Mhm.
humans. And like the idea that that's something we can relate to now, just, having a picnic, getting our stuff together, walking down to the beach with our friends,
Mhm.
right? They have a good time in the sun. Like that's just I love that. And
Absolutely.
um but yeah, like those were probably some of my favorites. But I did like the one that we got your daughter involved in. Um
The little chaos gremlin she is. But
yes,
yeah.
you know, and then she's playing the role of a child who might be murdered.
Oof.
We don't know. Hopefully we left it open. We
We
left it
the
open.
door was in fact left open.
Open. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, I that's pretty much where I stand with those. And then like I think we've kind of discussed this a little bit, like what were some of our favorite moments in the season. Um,
Oof.
I know it's tough. We because like this season in particular, just the way the weather has been, everything, like we've done a lot.
It
Um,
feels a little chaotic. This season feels a little chaotic in essence because
yeah.
we did have to span such a long time to
Mhm,
give like reference for like how dramatic the shift was during like the
mhm,
Holy Roman Empire and all of that. Like
yeah.
and so like if you're feeling like this was like a lot, it was. It definitely
Yeah.
was.
I mean, I feel like it's not as overwhelming as like the first one, just because like the detail of it all. But yes, we did cover a larger span. But like
Mhm.
I said, I think I wanted to cover, instead of this time around, I was trying to cover a theme
Mhm.
more than I was just like a biography,
Indeed.
right? Um, that way we can give you more variety too.
Mhm.
That was some of it. It's like thematically similar, but different lives, different aspects. We did a lot of general episodes too, which I kind of liked. Like where we talked about like the role of women
Mhm.
in both the ancient and the late, early modern.
Mhm.
We talked about magic in general and
Yeah.
practices, and I loved that we had that moment. The geography of it all, where we got to watch Octavian cry.
Cry, bitch.
Wouldn't have been able to do that if we hadn't been more broad with
Indeed.
some of our topics. But like, so I did like that. And then like I love that we got some like Zai and your daughter and people involved. So and I think one of my favorite moments was when I got to do our first crossover episode
Yes.
with Jerry from the History Boys. That was so much fun. Um, it was late
It was
for
so
me
late.
anyway. For
It
him, it
was
was
so
also late, but
late.
not as late because he's on the other side of the country.
Country.
But you know, that was so cool to collab with someone that I've listened to for a while. And he was just so gracious and like instant, like he got back to me so quick when I was like, no one's gonna respond. And like he did, like the same day. And he was like, yeah, I'd love to do that. Like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's
So
fun.
this is real. So that was awesome. And I would love to do more with him in the future,
Oh,
as well as,
absolutely.
other people. I have ideas and plans. And like at some point would love to go out there and do stuff with them if they would have me. So stay tuned for that because I think at some point that'll happen.
Mhm.
Um, but it's like this season was a lot of firsts, a lot of news. Like we were new to the whole thing last season, but now this season it's like starting to crystallize. We're starting
Yes.
to get a more of a brand. We're getting more of, if you will, to use that kind of like terminology, like an identity. You know,
We know
um,
ourselves.
we know ourselves, um, and we're getting into a certain kind of rhythm and
Mhm.
like really fine tuning things. Um, and so like last season, I'll say, and this is probably gonna be short because we've kind of talked about it, but
Mhm.
like what are we feeling now that we're done with the last episode? Like um it was
It
definitely
feels
bigger feelings last
heavy.
time.
No, no,
It
no.
was big.
This one is
Yeah.
heavy in a different way. This one almost feels more politically heavy and politically
Mhm.
relevant. Um
Yeah.
where
It-
Mark Antony and Cleopatra, that was more like personally
mhm.
heavy and personally relevant because we got really attached to them as characters. We got really attached to them as they were people. versus here we didn't necessarily make that really personal connection to the history. We more so are seeing it from that broader lens.
Yeah, which I don't necessarily mind. Like there were personal, we were saying we loved Katerina,
Yes.
our girl, but like Cleopatra, we spent in particular, as well as Mark Antony, we spent,
Spent six
I
months with
think,
them.
but like right, well, we spent like 8 total for the whole thing,
That's
but I
correct.
think with them specifically, it was like 4,
Hmm.
like 4 or 5, but still, that's a long time to really get to know somebody. And I did the research and I was reading from like Stacy Schiff's book and like who did an amazing job writing it in a way where you really get to you get to know Cleopatra. At first you're like, is this the biography or is this a novel? And you're like, oh no, it's a biography, but she's not making nothing up. Sources everywhere, but it's just like she does a really good job of making Cleopatra like a human being.
And very
Um,
personal.
yeah. And that's kind of like what I wanted to do when we did their story was try to make them person like people
Absolutely.
because they were
Because they were.
um relatable people, as much as you can with super rich, crazy royal people, but like still.
I mean the,
Um
let's fuck up our livers club, but um
yeah. Um but yeah, so and like I think you were kind of going on to the next question is like why do you think that the story is relevant and important to today, and why? I think it explains itself. Witch hunts, it's a term, right?
mhm,
Like McCarthy did a witch hunt. Like
mhm.
it's a term that's used even when witchcraft is no longer a punishable crime. The idea
Mhm.
that you're just like out to get a certain group of people or like
Absolutely.
using a certain idea to just persecute people indiscriminately. Like that's still going on today.
No, it
Now,
is, and
right
it's
now.
unfortunately ramping up today. That is I think the biggest historical crime is that they are either learning the maneuvers from history or they are ignoring it entirely and repeating it out of
Yeah.
ignorance. Um which is horrific. But it's just these kinds of mentalities breed the worst type of human being.
Hmm. And it's always the people who do that's stupid old men
It's stupid old
again,
men.
again.
When
And
the
also,
older generation does not relinquish power to the younger, the society will fail.
mhm. And you know it, and it's just funny that it's always the stupid old men who are accusing people of witchcraft, and yet, like, we have potentially senators voting from beyond the grave as we speak right now. You
Voting
know,
from beyond the grave, or
potentially,
the
or
the
he's home,
whole.
but no one saw him go home, so he's a witch, in my opinion, because he teleported and he's
Oh,
using dark
absolutely.
magic to stay alive.
Thousand
But
percent.
either way, I just think that's fun. But um, you know, um, but so I think that of course these stories are relevant. We like these are the people who inspired the Mustache Man, for example, right?
Hmm.
Like these are, and it's like that. There wasn't like there was this big gap between those moments. There was
No.
this happened again and again. Like you saw it happen with Salem, and Americans were always behind when it comes to that kind of crap. It's like the American Enlightenment takes place 50 years after
Well,
the
you have to figure like
Enlightenment.
ripples
Yeah.
across a
Oh
continent.
yeah. I
It
just
takes time to cross an ocean.
yeah.
So,
I just thought that it's like, it's like some of these ideas, it's like America always goes like, oh, we came up with this, like, we're like, and like, yeah, but like
yeah, no, you
based off the stuff, yeah. But yeah, so I just think that, like this was a good, it just weirdly how it worked out,
no,
like that it was happening in real time kind of here too.
it's fucking hilarious because this is also something that we kept saying as we were going through season 1. It was freaky how things were
Hmm.
reflecting, and it was
Hmm.
just like we're going along with the narrative of our season, and we're seeing it happen in real time in our government, and we're like, what the fuck? And as we're going through this season, we're also seeing the same thing happen in our government. We're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, this is concerning.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to talk about like some of this with Jerry and stuff like stuff was going on, that transition from Republic to Empire.
Mhm.
There's like markers, right? And it's not 100, of course, like that's like 2,000 years of time between us, but like there are signs. There are things to keep an eye out for.
Oh,
We
absolutely.
saw it with Hitler. We saw it, like, especially when your government is inspired by that government,
Mhm.
like the misogyny, the Juliet laws, um, things like that like intentionally not only oppress women, but create this system where they almost people think it's feminism, but it's not. It's tricking you.
Mhm.
Like the idea, like, well, if you have enough sons, you get a medal and you get essentially like financial freedom, but only if you have 3 sons, right? And it's like, oh, right, like they're in control of any of that anyway.
No, and whoa, you bring that
When they
up.
had
It's the
actually
men.
more
The
liberty
men are the
before.
ones that determine the sex of the baby. It's your sperms, not the eggs. Chill the fuck out.
But yeah, so it's just like one of those things that, or like also creating like where it creates a system where like the more kids you have to fuel certain types of children,
Certain types of children.
certain class of children, not
Correct.
poors. Um, like you rich people should be having as many racially pure babies as possible. Also, it punishes couples who don't want to have kids.
Which is ridiculous.
Right,
It takes
women
a
who don't want to
village
have
to
kids.
raise children, and we
Correct,
have
and you want to create a
lost the
village of
village.
children. You know,
We have
it's
lost
like
the village.
yikes. Um, and like right, so it's just like one of those things that like I think that a lot of it still is relevant, like because people are inspired by these things, trying to bring them back and hoping you don't know enough.
Exactly. And that's the part where I'm just like, please learn, please learn, please learn, please learn, please learn.
It's just good to know because it's nothing else. It creates you have a mind at that point that asks questions, who that uses who wants to think things through,
Mm-hmm.
right? Versus just blindly taking something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and once you gain that skill, you can't unlearn it. If my
Yep.
ADHD ass can fucking learn it, my dopamine deprived brain can do this. None of you have a fucking excuse. None of you. None of you.
When you do that, it doesn't actually come across at all. All I'm seeing is you like kissing your mic.
Anti-fascist ASMR. That's what I'm trying to attempt. Anyway,
I'm going to make that a weekly segment.
watch list. And now we're on a watch list.
ASMR.
So, because of course we're we're anti-fascists. Like what?
Of course.
That's not terrorism. I don't want to be under a dictatorial regime where you're stuck being a broodmare and I'm stuck in a camp. Like,
thank God I'm
of
fixed.
course.
Thank God I'm fixed. No more bibis.
But so, I mean, we did so transitioning a little bit. Like what were some of the personal challenges? This was a rough season
For
for
recording,
both
this
of us.
was a lot.
Yeah, like we were trying to be better than last time, especially towards the end where we got a little bit more burnt out.
Mm-hmm.
But this time it was more that life was at us, as by
Like,
the throat.
trying to make time to record was a bitch.
But like, let's think about all the things that happened, right? So, like at the beginning of the season, I was working for a different company.
Mm-hmm.
I liked my job. I was very happy at it. And one of the things is that they were opening a brand new location, so I was helping try to set all that up. My husband, who works, was for his work, was traveling. And so like twice that happened this season where essentially I went like a whole month without him being around, if you combine it all. So there was that. There was this big, huge grand opening that I had to be a part of, and then within a couple weeks, they laid me off along with a bunch of other people.
Yeah.
So then I was all of a sudden with no job, where I was making really good money, and
No, it
that was
didn't make
tough.
any sense, and I'm still pissed.
And then the same time, some kid hit me with their bike, and there was an accident report, and they were trying to be like, "Yeah, it's your fault for him rear-ending you," and I'm like, "What? What?
This
What?"
child hit me, and somehow I am
Correct.
responsible.
So it was a whole. Then I had to go with lawyers and court and all that, and then find a new job. And then we were trying to house hunt, which had to come to an abrupt halt because I lost my job for no good reason other than that the person in that company made bad investment choices and wasn't making his returns quick enough. So then he had to lay a bunch of people off.
Oh, no, no, no.
So
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I think this was planned at the beginning. I will state, I believe this was planned at the beginning. Overhire, get the store open, fire the excess.
yeah. And so it was really shitty. And there was a lot of ups and downs. But then it did eventually stabilize. It eventually stabilized. I've got work and I'm doing pretty good now. And then for you, of course, you had a lot going on at your job.
Yeah,
You
lots going on
you
at
had-
my job. Designer of the showroom. Yay. So like I go in people's homes and like help them do everything that they need to do. That's a lot.
which was also my job at
I
my
know, and
company.
I'm still trying to get you over where I'm at. But and then that didn't happen because I was trying to get him over there with me
Mhm.
because I want to work with you again because we
I
need to
know.
just hang out. But then my company dropped the ball and fucked up, and then
Mhm.
that didn't happen. And then my kids came for the summer, and then that was just
It's
one
a
thing
lot.
after another after another after another, and like I ain't got a drawer full of spoons. I do not.
Mhm.
I do not. My traumatized ass does not have enough spoons for all of this shit. And so it unfortunately turned into the all right, we recorded. I got to edit, now upload because it's Saturday
Yeah.
night. Let's go.
Yep, and that's kind of what happened towards the end with me too, because my schedule was no longer as regulated as it had been before.
Mhm.
So it was just like one of those things. Like we did it when we could do it, and we still kind of are in that situation right now. But like it's clearly still happening. We always make it work. Thankfully, we had people like Jerry, where I could do a show with. We had, Zai, who
Zai
was
popped in for
amazing.
us.
Zai's elbow is currently guest starring, and so um
You've
so
seen him walk across a couple of times, but that helped
thankfully,
a lot.
yeah. And so um that's not saying that'll never happen again.
Yeah.
Um
No, and
but
one of the challenges that like pissed me off. So I try to do like the music for like
mhm,
opening, closing, things like that. I had somebody that was going to help me with music. That fell through. I had somebody else that was going to help me with music. That fell through. And then I'm just like, okay, I guess we're not doing this. Fuck. Because then we were
yeah,
starting to release episodes and I'm not going to introduce music just in the middle of a
no,
season.
it was what it
It
was.
was what it was. It was annoying. It kind of fucked up my creative direction for it from the beginning, which was
Well, it's the
irritating as
beautiful thing is
shit.
that at some point, we could remaster these
Yeah.
and like we could go back and to re-release the season with all of that if we really wanted to.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's, like it's not all is lost, but like it didn't seem to fuck up our listeners, like, because again, we hit 1,000 listeners or downloads and love that every week now. I mean, our first month, like we did 4 downloads, 4. And I remember being excited that anyone was listening. Now it's like on average a day we're getting that, it like at least that. So, that's amazing. I'm so
It is.
glad that we're reaching out to people. And so that being said, I think it's time that we discuss what is to come.
What comes next? Brandon, tell me, what is next season all about?
So next season, because we're gonna go on just a little teeny baby hiatus, not too long.
Not too
It's not gonna
long.
be too long for you guys. But like the main season 3, we are going into the Meiji Revolution. So we're going to Japan. But we're not discussing necessarily Meiji, because originally that was my thought process. Like, okay, we're gonna do Meiji, right?
Mhm.
And then like I'm realizing, really, not that he was a figurehead, but he was definitely the rubber stamp, right?
Mhm.
I'm like, he's kind of boring. And he didn't make the revolution happen. Other people did. Like the revolution comes from, brilliant minds, crazy social reworkings and order, right? Um, and like for example, someone I'm very excited to talk about is Sadayako. Her story is amazing. So there's like women like her. There's important men in all this, right?
Mhm.
So we're gonna start off season 1 kind of building up our backstory, kind of like we did with season 1, right?
Yeah.
So like the first part of it, see like season 1, we're gonna go into like the mythology and religion, like right, because it will be important to understand like why Meiji coming into it all, right? You know, um, so we'll discuss like Amaterasu, well, like Shintoism, then Amaterasu, and how like that line to the, like the royals today tie themselves back to a literal goddess, right? How does that happen in a modern government? Like we'll explore a lot of that, and then we're going to talk about like Japanese feudalism and that particular brand. Before then, we start talking about the people, right? So we'll talk about this asshole, Commodore Perry, who
Mm.
kind of unfortunately did start it all, right? And then we're going to talk about like the Bakamatsu and the Rurouni Kenshin. Oh, well, just kidding. Kind of, maybe,
Maybe.
maybe, but we're going to definitely talk about then the people, and I'm exploring different aspects of the revolution, like whether it be art, drama, politics, right? And I'm trying to pick people who helped move it forward. Like Yakusato, for example, introduced the idea of geisha to the world, right? Made it real, no longer just story, because she traveled internationally, but then within her own country, opened the door for women, where women were not barred from acting. She herself became an actress and then opened that up for other women, created a school, introduced Western plays to in like the Imperial Theater in Tokyo was opened by her and her husband. Like so amazing person, amazing story. Influenced Art Nouveau. Picasso painted her. Like someone I never heard of. People need to know about her. She was
Oh,
crazy.
absolutely. Absolutely. And this
Amazing.
is this is one of the things that like we don't get like in the American school system is a lot of us live under the impression that everybody like only interacts with the US and they're
Hmm.
not interacting with each other. And
Yeah.
it's like a weird ass mindset. So seeing that interaction across is so fucking cool because that
Yeah.
was never taught to us in any way shape or form.
No. And like there's other people, like for example, I would love to talk about like painters.
Mhm.
I would love to talk about like for example like Hasui Kawase. I would love to talk about like like Saito Hajime, who is like a character in the Rurouni Kenshin who was real. He's a real person, and like it's pretty accurate, weirdly enough. And I'm like, what? Oh, what? This man's real. He was part of like the Shinsengumi,
Mhm.
like the enemy side
Mhm.
of that revolution, and somehow comes out of it as like the police chief, who modernizes like the police force and like how like investigations are done and everything in
Go
Japan.
figure.
Oh, like that's crazy.
Mhm.
And like he also worked undercover. He was like kind of like a I don't know, like FBI spy kind of thing, you know. So he would like be breaking up like gangs and everything. You're like, this guy is so cool. So like that's like a thought, and like so we've got all these different people who made Japan kind of like what it is today. And I feel like that their side stories, you know, like Hashimoto, who was a famous painter. You've got um like Ito Hirobumi, who was like the first prime minister of Japan, who helped revolutionize their entire government, helped write their
Mm-hmm.
constitution. Also was the one who deflowered Sadayako.
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
So there's cross like referencing
There's
happening.
cross-referencing and
So like two people who helped change Japan in their very different ways, cross paths, knew each other intimately. Um, yeah. So it's just like, and then we talk about like the scientists. Like, you know, I was thinking about like Tanaka, like Shige, who was like he's known as the quote unquote Thomas Edison of Japan, which I feel like is an insult because Thomas Edison's a dick. But also,
mm-hmm.
like, maybe Edison was the Hisashige of America. Okay.
Indeed.
Yeah. But he also made these amazing, like, automatons. He made all these clockwork, like, steampunk esque style things. Like, he was this master
Love.
clockmaker and he invented all these different things. He was a scholar like he's very cool, right? So like we
Mm-hmm.
got this guy who helped revolutionize like science. You've got like Ogino Ginkgo, who was the first licensed female physician practicing Western medicine in Japan. Like
I love that.
this period of such
Change.
change, and it was done by people, not by one man.
No, it wasn't like heralded by somebody. It was multitudes standing up and forcing
Mhm.
change.
So I want to explore this era through the lives of very different people.
I love it. I'm so
Like
excited for it.
and yet it's because of all of them that this era came to be.
I'm so excited for it.
So yes, so that is that next season. However, that wouldn't start until November,
Ooh,
and we would not keep everyone waiting that long. We're not going to
no.
do that. That's crazy. So we thought a good transition, because spooky season of it all, is to do a butt ton of mini-sodes on yokai. I'm
October
calling
becomes the parade.
correct. So, I mean, the hard date would be October, but like soft date might be September. We will see,
We'll
but
see.
depends on how much we get recorded. But like, it's going to be a ton of much smaller episodes than we're used to.
Hmm.
So like, instead of doing like 2 hour episodes, you know, once a week or something, it's going to be closer to like half hour. And we're going to talk about like half hour, 45 minutes. And we'll talk about, so they won't have cold open stuff, but we're going to go through a list, the list of
Lots of
yokai.
spooky stuff.
It's spooky and it's fun. Um, and like we have some good ones. We have some good ones on there.
We have some good ones. We have some
Um,
goofy ones, but we
we
have
have some
some really
goofy
good
ones.
ones.
You
I'm
know,
so
the
excited.
brown-eyed specter. That's all I'm gonna say. The brown-eyed specter.
Oh my gosh. No.
You'll get it. You'll get it. You'll
You'll
get why.
understand. I
You'll
promise you'll
understand
understand.
in time. In time. But yes, so we're gonna do a whole bunch of them.
Mhm.
Dive into the folklore. And I thought that was a good transition, like as we go from like witch hunts and like kind of like that spooky season-ish, you know, but
Mhm.
like this like goes into like literal ghost stories. Which then brings us to Japan. So we'll already kind of get a vibe of like what the culture's like.
What
Especially once
scares
like
the
the
culture or what like
yeah. like where particular quirks, we'll know some names even, we'll know some of that, some customs, especially amongst like the people more broadly versus just like, like individuals or just rich people. And so yeah, I'm super excited for it. I've already done like the writing for it because this was actually an easier write than what we normally do.
Yes.
So and I just think it's fun. It's gonna be fun. So stay tuned for that.
Indeed.
And then like we have ideas for future seasons. But I don't want to say anything and again, because like, it's I think we know it's pretty concrete, I think, at this point. But like in the event that it might change, let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
Indeed.
But
life
I
has been
think
lifing.
yeah,
we don't
exactly.
we don't want to write checks that we cannot cash.
Correct. So I think that, pretty much like on that note though, like that's about it. Like this season was crazy at times. We had a lot of ups and downs personally and within the show. We've gone on a crazy journey that spanned it over 1,000 years. Well, if you go to the Proto-Indo-European of it all, the pie of it all, like that's like
longer than that.
Longer than that. But in the strict timeline, 1,000 years, and so, I feel like we did something cohesive. Something that not everyone knows a lot about, though. Yeah. And I'm really proud of ourselves we were like, we're going to be done with this by August.
And here we are.
We did it.
We did it.
Did it. Like, unlike last season where we're like, we'll be done by like September.
That didn't happen.
We were so cute for thinking that.
We were adorable for thinking
adorable.
But that was also a huge undertaking. That was a huge project.
Yeah.
Like that is so different.
But I'm proud that this time we kept with our deadline. We did it. And we hope that every one of you guys enjoyed this. And I'm just super excited for what's about to come next season. Yeah, so stay tuned. Stay tuned for
Very
all
much
of that.
Stay tuned. Spooky season is almost upon us. Spooky season already started here. But then again, I'm a spooky bitch. So,
if it were up to my husband, we'd already be decorated for Halloween. And I'm like, girl, please just let me finish the summer out. That's all. Like, it's like we have such long winters here. Please just let me. Let me get through August. That's all. Like, once we hit September, we're not going to the beach and shit no more. It's fine. Let's decorate it up. But I'm like, let me get through August. So stay tuned. Like I said, tentatively, maybe like September, definitely October. But we need some time to record all this. Because it should be easier. But we'll see.
It should be a lot easier, and we'll be able to get ahead a lot better because a lot of it's already pre-written, it's already pre-done. It's just a matter of you off that day, I'm off that day. Let's do this. So
and that's what this little hiatus is more for me, so I can get the writing done.
Yes.
Get it done, get it out there, decide who I'm actually going to talk about because like if you saw the list, it would be season 1 all over again. But it would be a whole podcast just on that.
Here's the thing. We don't have to do it all now. There is no FOMO because we can always cover the rest of them.
Yeah, it could always be a side quest. It could always be something like that, right? Like, or like a re-release and then we add some more. Like, whatever. But I think that, but that being said, I still want to pick the right people, and how long that will be, we shall determine. But stay tuned. Thank you for joining us today on our little recap here. Little recap. But and we can't wait to see you guys soon, hopefully. And like Courtney said, you get to watch next week versus like a normal episode. We'll be releasing a blooper reel where you get to see us me in particular, but like sometimes her, real unhinged,
Some
real
real
unhinged,
unhinged shit.
some
Um,
real,
so we're
some
gonna
real
have
hot
fun
girl
with that.
shit.
But fuck.
So, you know, and you'll be like, wow, no wonder he lost his job. No, I try to keep it together at work. It's when I come
No,
home.
this
So,
this was the valve release. It's okay.
yeah. So, thank you for joining us today. And, as always, thank you for all your support. If you like, please give us a like. Help us appease those algorithm gods if you can, because the more we can appease them, the more we can reach out to other people and keep this show going by building a community of history nerds just like you. Oh,
And obviously, we also have a Patreon. I know the Patreon has been a little dead for a little bit, but we do have some ideas. We
lots.
do want to be making those recipes, really getting in there, possibly try wine making. We also want to, for
More
decompression time
moonshiners.
and just like bonding with the community, we want to be able to like live stream gaming where we're going through some of the historical games and stuff like that, and we're just like having fun but can talk to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
um we have a lot of ideas, but it only costs a latte per month. And
Mm-hmm.
so because books and materials cost a lot of money and it takes us so much time to make this show, anything that you can provide would be a huge help.
Yeah, and as we grow, I'm hoping we'll see more of that because then eventually the goal is I don't have to work no
Same.
more. And then I can just do this. So that if you want more content, then
More.
you
We
gotta
got
help
to
me out.
share.
Please.
We got to
Please.
share it with people too.
But
Send it to your friends.
that being said, we appreciate anyone who's listening because that's also helping us.
Indeed.
So, um, but as always, thanks for listening, and we can't wait to see you again next time. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.